Sophie Cunningham went on the record saying and give the damn ball to Caitlin.
I think that everyone saw that we kind of got some flow when Kate was hurt and our offense was clicking. But now we have to have a new offense when she's in there because she just brings that much to the game. And so we have to adjust. And I think all of us just want it now.
That Indiana is even more dangerous when Caitlin Clark doesn't play.
2 minutes ago, Sophie Cunningham is going viral after calling out what's really happening to Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White.
Stephanie White's style of coaching is not for Caitlin Clark.
Stephanie White, I'll say it again, you are a pure bum of a coach. Trash.
Sophie Cunningham just said what everyone's been thinking, but no one inside the league dared to say.
Sophie Cunningham has set the record straight about this Indiana Fever offense.
Caitlin Clark is far too talented to be wasted by poor coaching decisions. Her bold, viral statement pulled back the curtain and exposed it all. If you believe Caitlin deserves better, drop a 100% in the comments now.
Country has fallen in love with what we have created. And America, here's the girl next door, all grown up, Caitlin Clark. She is a phenomenon.
Caitlin Clark has captivated the nation, breaking scoring records in college and bringing women's basketball to a whole new audience.
Sophie Cunningham didn't hold back. She dropped a truth bomb that's still echoing across the league.
While Tyler Marsh is trying to turn Angel Reese into a star, she turned a star into a role player.
In a post-practice interview, she finally said what every Caitlin Clark supporter has been waiting to hear from inside that locker room. The team needs an entirely different offensive system when Caitlin's on the court because she's just that impactful. Her exact words, "We kind of got some flow when Caitlin was hurt.
We kind of got some flow when Kate was hurt and our offense was clicking. But now we have to have a new offense when she's in there.
But now we have to have a new offense when she's in there."
That we kind of got some flow when Kate was hurt and our offense was clicking. But now we have to have a new offense when she's in there because she just brings that much to the game. And so we have to adjust. And I think all of us just want it now.
Because she just brings that much to the game, that line spread like wildfire. Sophie wasn't dismissing how the team played without Caitlin. She was highlighting how much better and more complex things need to be when she's back. She wasn't blaming Clark for recent struggles. Instead, she was calling out a system that clearly isn't tailored to its best player.
Caitlin is that great, and we need to play a different style when she is available.
And she's absolutely right. What made Sophie's words explode online wasn't just the message. It was how raw and direct she was.
Every time Indiana started to look good for a second with Caitlin Clark, what did Stephanie White do? She sat her on the bench.
She didn't sugarcoat it. She made it clear. Caitlin's presence on the floor changes everything, and she said it as a compliment.
But now we have to have a new offense when she's in there because she just brings that much to the game.
She confirmed what fans, analysts, and rival teams already knew. Caitlin Clark isn't some average rookie. She's a floor general.
I've never seen somebody fumble a incredible talent like this. Generational, once in a lifetime player like this.
Forget about WNBA career. For her life, has always had the ball in her hand.
A game-altering force, a once-in-a-generation type of athlete. And yet, instead of building around her, the current game plan is limiting her brilliance.
There's always going to be adjustments when you're working people back into the lineup. There's no question about that. But the competitiveness and the attention to detail.
Sophie wasn't just speaking in support. She was indirectly challenging how the team is being managed. Her message was clear. We aren't adapting to our star, and it's hurting us.
Caitlin Clark is a star. She is one of the most decorated women athletes.
Caitlin Clark is the driving force behind the WNBA success, women's basketball success.
Doing massive, massive business for a league that has no track record of it.
She even hinted at growing frustration behind the scenes when she said, "We all just want it now."
Caitlin Clark should not subject herself to this trash.
That's more than just hustle. It speaks to urgency, to wasted time, to a team desperate for a system that actually fits its most important player.
Her presence and her impact in women's basketball is referred to as the Caitlin Clark effect.
Country has fallen in love with what we have created. And America, here's the girl next door, all grown up, Caitlin Clark.
In that one bold moment, Sophie Cunningham said everything Caitlin Clark can't, on behalf of fans who've been shouting it all season.
Stephanie White, who thinks it's a great idea to have Caitlin Clark playing small forward.
Sophie Cunningham's viral comments didn't just get people talking, they reignited the biggest question hovering over the Indiana Fever.
We watching her stand in the corner and play small forward.
What exactly is Stephanie White doing with Caitlin Clark? Because if you've been watching the games, it's not just confusing, it's downright frustrating. Let's start with the most obvious issue. Caitlin Clark is being taken off the ball. We're talking about the top point guard in the country, someone known for her elite vision, ridiculous passing range, and ability to control tempo.
We got the best playmaker in the world. We got the best point guard in the world. Why is Sophie Cunningham bringing the ball up?
And she's being used like a background piece. Recently, Stephanie White started Aari McDonald at the point and shifted Caitlin to small forward. That's not a mistake. That's a coaching disaster. It's not just a position change.
This offense that Stephanie White has Caitlin Clark running is basura, dumpster juice.
It's a complete misuse of one of the most dynamic players the WNBA has ever seen.
Build more continuity on both ends of the floor. And I think you've seen it in spells. But again, now we reintegrate C, we reintegrate DD.
And the consequences are clear. In a recent 80-61 loss, Clark had almost zero influence on the offense.
Caitlin don't need to be integrated into an offense.
She didn't take a single free throw. She stood off ball, barely involved.
This thing was supposed to be built upon Caitlin Clark's strengths.
While Aari McDonald, who wasn't even signed a month ago, took more three-pointers than Clark, Mitchell, and Boston combined. That's not just a poor choice.
Great coaches adjust to great players. It's not the other way around.
That's strategic negligence. Coach White tried to defend her moves by saying she's trying to reintegrate Clark into the system. But let's be honest, Caitlin isn't the one who needs to adapt. The system should have been designed around her from the start. You don't ask a once-in-a-generation player to squeeze into an outdated scheme. You reshape the scheme to highlight her strengths.
This is not Connecticut. If you were so fixated on running a certain type of offense and having a certain type of point guard, you did not need to come here. You didn't need to come to Indiana. You could have stayed where the hell you was.
Let her run the show like she did at Iowa, because she's already proven she can do it at the pro level.
She should be the focal point of the offense, defense, every aspect of that team. The money she's generating for the league, but especially the Indiana Fever, is unprecedented right now.
And this isn't just emotional fan backlash. It's backed up by numbers. When Clark is running the point, Indiana scores 88.2 points per game. When she's sidelined or not given control, that drops to 79.8.
They are plus 8.4 points when Caitlin Clark plays.
That's a difference of nearly 9 points. And yet Stephanie White keeps pushing a slow, motion-heavy offense that strips away everything that makes Clark great. It's not just ineffective, it's out of touch with reality. And it's not just fans who've noticed.
Caitlin Clark has changed the game. She changed it in college and in the WNBA.
The country has fallen in love with what we have created. And America, here's the girl next door, all grown up, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark has captivated the nation, breaking scoring records in college and bringing women's basketball to a whole new audience.
She is a phenomenon.
Sophie Cunningham's quote, "We need a new offense when Caitlin is in there," wasn't a throwaway line. It was a wake-up call. It echoed what fans have been saying for weeks. But Coach White seems more concerned with sticking to her system than unlocking the full potential of the star in front of her. That's why people are demanding change.
The Fever are more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. To what Stephanie White has to say about.
You see the Mavs just play differently without Luke on the floor. He's a guy who's high usage rate, the ball's in his hands. When he's not on the floor, that ball is moving, it's popping. Multiple players getting involved in action, and everyone's stepping up.
Lower usage rate for him.
Now, did y'all hear Stephanie White say the ball's moving, it's popping, it's getting in action? This is her pretty much confirming she don't like Caitlin Clark's style of play.
This isn't about early season struggles. It's about a coach failing to recognize what she has. Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA. She brought a massive spotlight with her.
As long as Stephanie White is here, we'll never see the true greatness that Caitlin Clark has within her.
Record ratings, sold-out arenas, and an explosion of interest in the sport. And what has she gotten in return? A corner spot on the court and a coach who's wasting her potential?
That was Stephanie White, people. The most accountable lacking coach I have. She's the most zero accountable having coach I've ever seen.
Even worse, there's been no accountability. Stephanie White hasn't owned up to any of it. Not the poor rotations, the stagnant offense, or the lack of player development.
She has not stepped to the podium and taken accountability one time.
Instead, she blames the team's energy or execution while ignoring her own role in the chaos. Fans have reached their limit.
Fans online has been threatening to quit watching the Indiana Fever basketball. Fans is threatening to quit going to the games.
Many say if Caitlin Clark leaves, they're done. No more tickets, no more games.
Stephanie White will go down as the coach that ruined Caitlin Clark fan base.
That's how serious this is. Right now, the Fever don't look like a playoff team. They look like a franchise on the verge of blowing the biggest opportunity they've had in decades.
I have never seen someone fumble, just flat out fumble a golden goose like this.
Stephanie White had one job. Don't ruin Caitlin Clark's rookie season. And at this point, she's failing. What started as confusion has now turned into full-scale outrage. Fans, analysts, and even teammates can all see it.
You need to let her pick her coach and pick what players she wants on the team.
Caitlin Clark is being misused, underappreciated, and boxed into a role that doesn't reflect her elite ability. And at this point, it's not just about bad coaching, it's about leadership, respect, and the long-term future of this franchise. Let's begin with the fans, the heartbeat of this team's rise to relevance. Before Clark's arrival, Fever home games barely filled the stands. Now arenas are packed, tickets are sold out, and the team has become a national headline.
Stephanie White destroyed CeCe's game.
The Fever go down ugly.
At this point, it looked like there's a conspiracy against CeCe.
We struggled to do what the coaches asked.
Stephanie White is not a fan of Caitlin Clark.
Jerseys are flying off the shelves. Record-breaking viewership is the new norm, and all of it ties back to one name, Caitlin Clark. But instead of building around her, the organization has boxed her in. They've forced her into systems that don't play to her strengths, and now the results speak for themselves. Supporters have had enough. Social media is swarming with frustrated posts calling for Coach Stephanie White's dismissal.
We need to run a different offense because she's that great. We need to do what she does best and figure it out around her.
When she is playing with us, we play a different style of basketball, and it's almost like two different teams.
They need to run a different offense when Caitlin Clark is in the game. Give the ball to Caitlin and let Caitlin do what Caitlin does.
Fans are sharing videos showing Clark planted in the corner, barely involved, visibly disheartened. This isn't the Caitlin Clark who took over the NCOSM, broke records, and changed the culture of women's basketball. This is a superstar being sidelined by her own team. And the tension isn't just external, it's brewing inside the locker room too.
We have to give the ball to CeCe in order to be productive.
Sophie Cunningham's viral comment wasn't only about basketball. It was a subtle jab at the coaching staff and a sign that even inside the team, players are noticing the disconnect. She said it herself.
The Indiana Fever and this organization is not in the best interest of Caitlin Clark. They're in the interest of self.
You guys are using Caitlin Clark for money and not allowing her to showcase her brilliant talent.
The team plays like two completely different units, depending on whether Clark is on the floor or not. And while that can sound like praise for Clark, it also exposes a deeper issue. This team has no clear identity, and that's a coaching failure. The players are being whiplashed between two offensive approaches. One game,
Stephanie White destroyed CeCe's game.
The Fever go down ugly.
At this point, it looked like there's a conspiracy against CeCe.
We struggled to do what the coaches asked.
Stephanie White is not a fan of Caitlin Clark.
They're running a fast-paced read and react system with Clark directing everything. The next, it's a slow, half-court scheme that stifles her and forces the others into roles they're not built for. This constant shifting is killing chemistry, and it's starting to show.
There has been a large speculation that Caitlin Clark pretty much wants to go to New York.
There's more. Reports suggest even Clark's parents have been attending fewer games. That's not nothing. It reflects a shift in energy. Even inside the organization, the focus seems to be on cashing in on Clark's stardom without actually giving her the tools to succeed.
Her and Sabrina will be the Splash Sisters. I can see it now. Clay and Steph 2.0.
A recent fan poll found that the majority would stop supporting the Fever if Clark were to leave. That tells you all you need to know. She's not just a fan favorite, she's the foundation. And now whispers about her future are starting to grow louder. Rumors suggest she's eyeing a move to New York, and honestly, it would make sense. Under Coach Sandy Brondello's up-tempo system, playing alongside Sabrina Ionescu, Clark could thrive. Fans are already dreaming of the next Splash Sisters era, Clark and Ionescu as the WNBA's version of Steph and Clay.
Coaches, that's our job to figure it out. Why it is. You've seen it in spurts. You've seen it in moments. You've seen it with certain lineups. So finding, for us, finding those lineups that we've seen it with consistently and maybe keeping those together. There's always going to be adjustments when you're working people back into the lineup. There's no question about that. But the competitiveness and the attention to detail.
In that system, Clark would be free to lead, shoot, create, just like she did at Iowa. That's the dream, but it's not the reality in Indiana. Not with this coach, not with this system.
Everything that she does, you took away from her.
Which raises a critical question. How long can Clark stay quiet? The calls are getting louder. Fans, commentators, even creators online are urging her to speak up, to ask for change, to set boundaries, to protect her own career. And maybe now is the time. Because this isn't about adjusting to the league anymore.
Maximize the business opportunities that have come from having Caitlin Clark to the team and to build a bigger dedicated fan base for themselves off Caitlin Clark's back, but not centered around Caitlin.
It's about surviving in a system that clearly doesn't value her properly. At this point, it's not just poor coaching, it's bordering on sabotage. Clark didn't come into the league needing to be developed. She came ready. She was expected to be the face of the WNBA.
She should be fired, and she should be fired sooner rather than later.
But with every game that passes, that dream slips further away, not because of opponents, but because of her own team's refusal to adapt. Caitlin Clark is a generational talent, a cultural force, a leader. But even the best players can't overcome a system designed to hold them back.
Caitlin Clark has changed the game. She changed it in college and in the WNBA.
The country has fallen in love with what we have created. And America, here's the girl next door, all grown up, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark has captivated the nation, breaking scoring records in college and bringing women's basketball to a whole new audience.
She is a phenomenon.
Her presence and her impact in women's basketball is referred to as the Caitlin Clark effect.
So here's the reality. The fans are frustrated. The locker room is splintered, and the coach refuses to change. If Indiana doesn't shift course and finally build around Caitlin Clark, they're not just going to lose games.
I don't need to be in a goddamn Indiana Fever uniform if y'all gonna act like this.
They're going to lose their fans, their chemistry, and eventually the very star who made them matter.
Caitlin Clark has been let down. She's been lied to. She's been scammed by this organization.
Sophie Cunningham's comments didn't just make headlines. They brought the truth into the open. Caitlin Clark isn't the issue. She's the key. But the system around her is what's broken. The fans see it. The players feel it. And the numbers don't lie.
Sophie Cunningham said,
I think that everyone saw that we kind of got some flow when Kate was hurt and our offense was clicking. But now we have to have a new offense when she's in there because she just brings that much to the game. And so we have to adjust. And I think all of us just want it now.
Sophie Cunningham went on the record saying, and give the damn ball to Caitlin.
That Indiana is even more dangerous when Caitlin Clark doesn't play.
The Indiana Fever have dropped the ball. You do not deserve Caitlin Clark.
If the Indiana Fever don't act quickly, if they fail to build a team around the one player who's transforming the entire league, they're going to lose everything she's brought. The spotlight, the sold-out arenas, the hope. It's now or never. The Fever must either evolve or fall apart. And as for the rest of us, we're not backing down. We're standing with Caitlin all the way.